Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we're going to discuss Tim Walz. We found some crazy information about Tim Walz overnight yesterday. I already mentioned it, but it is some new evidence regarding what I mentioned to support the claim. So we'll discuss that. We'll also discuss the backlash that Adin Ross is receiving for hosting Trump. Actually, it's not really Adin Ross backlash. It's actually Trump backlash for actually streaming with Adin Ross. He is a young YouTube streamer slash whatever. But yeah, there is a lot of backlash, and we seen your girl Kamala Harris is trying to copy or emulate some of Trump's campaign strategies, and it's not really working out for her. And we'll look at what the mainstream media is talking about Trump and Adin Ross and some other stuff that's going on in the news. Okay, so thank you for tuning in once again to another episode of Business Talks.
Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Ay, this is what you call a bap. What? This is what you call a bap. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Ay, this is what you call a bap. What? This is what you call a bap.
You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Noble Young in the building. What is good? Styles by Miss Bobby. What is good is always great to see you. Gary Williams is tuning in from Los Angeles, California. What is good, Gary? It's great to see every one of you. We're going to get started. Like I said, Tim Walz, we talked about him yesterday. We talked about how he has, a sketchy past. And one of the sketchy pasts of him claiming, and I didn't mention that, he's claiming that he served in war. Okay. Some of his speech as he's been on the campaign trail, he vows to have these restrictive gun laws and, he vows to take off the guns that he used in war, that he and take those guns, those same type of guns off the street. But everybody's revealed, and J.D. Vance, which is Trump's potential vice president, has revealed that Tim Walz never served in war. He was on National Guard, so every weekend he would have to go to, fulfill his duty on the base, and they do the training, basic training or whatever, but he never served. And when it was time for him to get called to Afghanistan, he decided, I'm going to retire. Okay, they're basically saying he left his troops high and dry, and he had some type of rank over his infantry, and he left them high and dry. He said, I want to run for office, and I already put it in my paperwork, which is some discrepancy about that. So they're calling him a stolen valor. He's stealing valor because he's making these false claims. And this is what they're saying on X about him. Let me just share this with you. Screen. This is what they're saying on X about this stolen valor. And it's actually trending. And we see J.D. Vance, he's going around and talking about this stolen valor.
Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. I'd be ashamed if I was him and I lied about my military service like he did. Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? When was this? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. I'd be ashamed.
Now, and this is Tim Walz talking to some of his constituents in Minnesota.
Hope woke up like many of you did 5 weeks ago and said, Dad, you're the only person I know who's in elected office. You need to stop what's happening with this. I'll take my kick in the butt for the NRA. I spent 25 years in the Army and I hunt. And I gave the money back, and I'll tell you what I have been doing. I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at. Hope woke up like many of you did 5 weeks.
So, you know, he's claiming that he has this weapon of war. He claims that, okay, that we're trying to get, you know, clean the streets off from these weapons, these same weapons we use in war. And we know that's not true, because the AR-15 is a totally different gun, what the military use. Totally different, less powerful. It's not automatic. So, and that's, you know, liberals, they pounce on this AR-15 notion that this is the same gun that they use in war. But if you talk to most military personnel, and they will tell you, no, they're not using the AR-15. They're not using the AR-15 if they're in combat. They don't use that. We don't even know what type of guns they're using. We can't even fathom. AR-15 is just a rifle, okay, and it's more a popular style hunting rifle, and it's a popular style if you own different types of weapons, and you have several weapons. You probably own an AR-15, so you're familiar with an AR-15. So, you know, that whole notion that he's been in war and it's a bunch of BS, okay. Now you have this is the senior advisor. Now, the senior advisor is a person, she's a transgender, and she, you know, of course, Tim Walz, when his time in office, I don't know if he stepped down from being the governor yet. That would be interesting to see. Maybe they're trying to solidify the nomination with the DNC before he takes that move. But this woman right here, she's basically is a transgender, and she is basically a champion for Tim Walz, because if we talked about it, Tim Walz ushered or signed a few bills, LGBTQ trans kids type bills, and he's a champion of the LGBT and trans community. I'm going to share with another bill that he signed, which is really disgusting, but this is her speaking for Tim Walz.
Good morning. I'm just making a quick video here to make sure everyone knows that we have the Trans Day of Visibility is coming up on March 31st. It's a Friday, and the Queer Caucus and some of our local organizations are planning a Trans Day of Visibility event at 10:30 in the morning in the Capitol Rotunda. It would be wonderful to have as many gender expansive, trans, non-binary, two-spirit people as we can here at the Capitol. Part of the work that we can do here is convene our community in a meaningful way. So I hope you'll be able to join us. Follow on my Instagram if you're looking for more information. I'll try to remember to post here, but I've been pretty busy and not really making as many TikToks as I was earlier. Much is happening. A lot of it is good. So we hope to see you Friday, March 31, 10 a.m., 10:30. I'll check on that. at the Capitol.
Okay, and so she's saying this is Tim Walz, or this post is saying this is Tim Walz, trusted advisor. He was a key in getting Walz to install tampon dispensers in the boys' bathroom in Minnesota. Okay, so this is his advisor. No, I don't even think, I think he's or she is a part of legislation. I'm just respecting. She wants to identify as a she. Okay, whatever. We could visibly see it's not a she. She's a transgender. Anyway. Now, this is a video of 2009, shows a veteran confronting Tim Walz staff over claims that he served in Afghanistan. The veteran said Walz could go to jail for violating the Stolen Valor Act of 2006 for claiming that he served in Afghanistan when he didn't. Why is this so important for us to be honing in on these types of issues? We are trying to say this is the second in command. If Kamala happens to get elected, okay, and something happens to Kamala Harris, this is the guy that we were electing office. That's why I want to hone in on this. This is the guy that Kamala chose. Apparently, she didn't vet enough. Kamala chose that he's going around lying about his service in the military. I truly, when I was getting out of high school, I had poor grades. I think I graduated with a 2.3 in high school. Poor grades. I did poorly on my ACTs. I don't think we took the SATs, but I did poorly on my ACTs. I was from the hood. We didn't really, my mom didn't really focus on education like that. She was more focused then on, hey, are we going to church and blah, blah, blah. You know, when I signed up for classes to the community college, you know, she's old school. So she wanted me to take like 10 key Adin machine, because what she saw my future was like a secretary, because that's what she was. She was an executive assistant. She didn't know, okay, the world is expanding. You could be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, blah, blah, blah. No, she saw secretary. So she signed me up for a 10 key class. But what I'm getting at is I wanted to enlist in the military. I really did. I wanted to enlist in the Army. Even after I graduated college, I still had that inkling like I should enlist in the military. But since I graduated, I was a late bloomer graduating out of college. I was kind of at that cusp that I would, you know, I only had a few years before the cutoff time. But anywho, I never did. But my mom was like, no, you're not going to the military, because at the time, they had the Gulf War, you know, that was going on. It was just, you know, kind of phasing out. And, she was like, no, you're not doing that. And, you know, so I could see you want to serve your country and you never really had the courage to, maybe. So you signed up for the National Guard, or you just like, okay, you know, I'm not doing nothing else. Let me just enlist in the military. But for you to make this whole claim that I actually serve in combat is really outrageous to me. It's really outrageous. So that's why I'm talking about it, and that's why I need for people to realize, okay, your girl, Kamala Harris, what kind of people does she have behind her for her to pick him without even vetting him in a proper way to make sure that he's not a liar, okay? So this is people confronting him.
My name is Dave Stoll. This is Travis Quinlan. We're both constituents and Iraq War vets. We're hoping to talk to someone about a photograph I have of Congressman Walz. Okay. Not sure if you have ever seen this picture before? Mm-mm. Okay. Well, in it depicts 2004 being Afghanistan veteran.
Right.
Congressman Walz is not an Afghanistan war veteran, is he?
He served in Italy as part of Operation Enduring Freedom.
Okay, but he didn't serve in Afghanistan, did he?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Hi, Rick. I'm Dave Thule. How you doing?
Nice to meet you, dude.
There's a young lady in the other office that was helping us, but if you can, we're.
You guys want to come in and have a seat?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a seat.
Hi, I'm Dave Thule. This is Travis Cleveland. We're both constituents and we're both Iraq war vets. We served together with the Minnesota National Guard. So we're here on a veteran-related issue. I don't know if you are familiar with this picture at all. This was taken in 2004 here in Mankato, and it's actually been posted on the internet for quite some time, and nobody quite realized what it is. But in this picture, Congressman Walz here is holding a sign that says "Enduring Freedom, Veterans for Care." So tell me what your understanding of his military background is.
Yeah, I understand that he was called up in support of it. Obviously, in support of that operation. That's how I've always understood it. And so the time that he, when he got called up, I guess I've always referred to it as, he was called up and served in support of Operation Enduring Freedom.
Okay, so is there any question in your mind what Enduring Freedom is?
No.
Okay, so I guess most people, and you yourself included, would associate Enduring Freedom with Afghanistan, right?
Right, but
Okay.
I mean, I think it, as I also understand that it encompasses a great deal. And there.
Well, Operation Enduring Freedom is limited to Afghanistan and the airspace directly above. There's other units that are called up in support of, and I'm sure that's probably what his military orders said.
Right.
My concern, other than this picture, is that the congressman's website, his official biography, says simply that he was mobilized with his battalion in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, without any other details. Don't you think it's reasonable people might assume that means he served in Afghanistan?
Perhaps, I guess.
Okay, so it's been 5 years now, or I guess almost 5 years, that the congressman's official biography has said he served in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Isn't it reasonable, if it causes confusion, or it may cause confusion, that somebody may have thought to change that and explain that he served in Italy and not in Afghanistan?
I mean, what would you suggest it be changed to, I guess?
It's simply to add the words "in Italy." Served in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in Italy. Simple as that, because then it specifies that he served in Italy. Now, don't get me wrong, I certainly appreciate the congressman's service. 24 years in the National Guard, we're both National Guardsmen ourselves. We appreciate his service, and we appreciate his being deployed. But there's a huge difference between being deployed to a base in Italy and being in the combat zone in Afghanistan. Okay. Are you aware of any of the media reports from 2006 that inaccurately cited the congressman as a war veteran?
Specifically, I can't think of any right now, but I don't. I would imagine that I know people have approached me as a staffer and thought that, and so I've corrected them. If you serve in support of an operation, you're not necessarily a veteran of that operation. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So your question is more about this picture than his biography.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
The biography is one of them. That's bad. That's misleading. That's a little bad. This right here, under current U.S. law, this could get the congressman probably thrown in jail in violation of the 2006 Stolen Valor Act, which says it is a crime, a federal crime, to portray yourself in writing or verbally as having received an award or decoration authorized by Congress that you didn't receive. Congressman Walz is clearly claiming in this sign, in this picture with this sign, to be an Enduring Freedom veteran. He is clearly, nobody disputes the fact that he is not an Afghanistan or Enduring Freedom veteran. So this represents a fairly serious issue. So can I leave you my name and number, and can I trust that someone will get back to me on this issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me grab it. Dave, was it?
Yes.
How do you spell your last name?
Thule, T-H-U-L.
And you're from Owatonna, you said?
Yes.
Did you want to leave any of this?
Yes, I'm going to leave this for you. This is a copy of the picture, so you guys have exactly what I'm looking at. And this is a copy of the story that I'm working off of. I'm also a blogger as opposed to this. So I will leave you with all the information there that is relevant to this. And I'll leave you with a copy of the picture, and I will hope to hear from someone in the congressman's office, if not the congressman, because this is a fairly serious matter and it needs to be addressed.
Okay. And you posted this then? This is posted online?
Yes, it's posted on Monday.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your help and cooperation.
Thank you,
and
and thank you for your service as well. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Your name again?
Travis.
Travis?
Okay, so there you have it. Now they've been addressing this issue, so it's only new to us because, of course, now Tim Walz is in the limelight. This guy's Tim, he's going around that claiming that this service in Afghanistan war. Okay, this video was from 2009, so. From 2009, I'm pretty your staff in your office told you, hey, we need to change this. We're going against the law. Maybe they wasn't aware of the law. But why? Number one, why would you lie? You're trying to make yourself seem more than what you are. And I'm not taking away from his military service. You served as support, but you were not in active combat. And there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I was a support person, but you was not in active combat. You're trying to make yourself tougher than what you are. Okay, so he's claiming that this, like I said, this was in 2009. Okay, and you continue to claim this and hitch your campaign onto this rhetoric and this lie, and you knew it was a lie. Okay, so this next video is from Fox News, and it's saying veteran who served in Tim Walz battalion addresses stolen valor accusation. Far darker than people think.
In uniform for more than 2 decades as a member of the Army National Guard.
For 24 years, I proudly wore the uniform of this nation. The National Guard gave me purpose. It gave me the strength of a shared commitment to something greater than ourselves.
And as the Harris campaign highlights Walz's military service, well, they left out a major detail. When his battalion deployed to Iraq in 2006, he wasn't with them. He retired. He said he wanted to run for Congress. But some of the men serving in his battalion say he abandoned them and only retired once he found out they were getting deployed. Now, when he was asked about it late today, well, Walz adopted Kamala's MO and simply refused to answer the question.
Governor, fans accuse you of stolen valor. Your response? Governor!
Joining me now is Thomas Behrens, retired Command Sergeant Major for the Minnesota National Guard. Thomas, good to have you with us tonight. Now, J.D. Vance is saying this is a case of stolen valor. He obviously served in the Marine Corps in active duty. What is your take on this? Is this just, a casual mistake? Is this something far darker?
That's way far darker than a lot of people think. I mean, it is stolen valor. He's used the rank that he never achieved in order to advance his political career. He's done it for decades now, basically. I mean, maybe not decades, but damn close to it. I mean, he still says he's a retired command sergeant major to this day, and he's not. He uses his rank. Of others to make it look like he's a better person than he is. He still does it even, just however long ago.
Well, to that point, just so everyone understands what we're talking about here, on his biography, on his campaign website, and even on the Minnesota website, it lists him, Governor Walz, as a retired command sergeant major. And his governor's bio says the same thing. It even says that is the rank he retired at. I mean, that's just a fact. You did or didn't. But again, the Minnesota National Guard told the Angle he retired as a master sergeant. Now, for people who don't have any military background, they might think, oh, command, sergeant major, master sergeant. Why is that such a big deal? Tell us why that's such a big deal.
Well, it's a big deal for the simple fact that in order to, when you get conditionally promoted to command sergeant major or sergeant major, you're signing a document that states that you will complete the United States Army Sergeant Major's Academy, which is technically a 2-year course, 2-year college course almost. And if you don't complete that, you don't get the rank. So you basically get reduced. It's conditional. You get pinned with E9, but then it gets taken away from you when you either quit or you end up having don't complete the course. So what he did basically was he quit. He didn't complete that condition, and he didn't complete the condition of doing 2 years after graduation. So he gets reduced to a master sergeant, and that's what he is right now, as a retired master sergeant.
Well, I think the issue here is that in some of the statements that were published and some of the comments that were made, when you say you were deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, it indicates to people something. And the implication is you were deployed in, I guess, Iraq or Afghanistan. And that's what most people think. And maybe it's something that's just wrong, but that's what a lot of people think. But how long did your unit spend in Iraq, and what was it like when you were there? Because, again, for people who believe that he was deployed in Iraq, people should understand what that was like.
Well, going back on what you said, I mean, technically in the old days, Operation Enduring Freedom was Afghanistan, and Operation Iraqi Freedom was Iraq. And he spun this, where we were in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, and the people in the unit that he was at in Italy were, supposedly going to get deployed to Afghanistan. I mean, there's documents out there that state some of those lies. And the 173rd Airborne was in Italy. That's their base, home base, and they actually air assault, or they parachuted into Iraq at that time. So I mean, his spin was a lie then, but back then, some of the party would basically say that they wanted to, Afghanistan was like the real war, and Iraq wasn't. So if you're in support of Enduring Freedom, you were in the war you should be in, and Iraqi freedom was kind of Bush's war. But that's how that all unfolded. Well, when we ended up in Iraq, I mean, we trained for 6 months, and then we ended up going overseas. We're supposed to be in Iraq for a year, and then we got extended and did the whole surge, and we were there for 6 more months. 17 months total.
Yeah, 2006 I was there in February of 2006, just for 2 weeks, and it was getting very real and extremely, extremely dangerous. I know so many men were lost, and you were there. He also made a comment about going to war, which, again, the implication being, well, what it was for most people. Listen.
I spent 25 years in the Army, and I hunt. And I gave the money back, and I'll tell you what I have been doing. I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Now, Thomas, weapons of war that I carried in war.
Right.
Again, what does that mean to most people? I mean, in language matters.
To most people, that would mean that he was actually in combat, carrying a weapon in a combat zone and getting combat pay, and in a dangerous hostile environment where he was getting shot at. I mean, if he thinks Italy was a combat zone or a war zone and he was carrying that in war, he's delusional. I mean, that was all said, just like him saying he was a command sergeant major, just another way to embellish his career beyond what it was, stolen valor for the people that actually were in war, and he's acting like he was in war. Well, yeah, he carried an M16 back when we were in, I don't know, maybe he never even had the thing out of the supply room in Italy. I would really doubt if he ever did. I don't think I ever had my weapon out in England. My soldiers did, but I was out there making sure that they had food and making sure that they had a good place to sleep and made sure their leave. I mean, that's what a first sergeant does in a deployment like that. I mean, you're in charge of leave and passes and duty roster and different things like that. I doubt if he even took his damn rifle out in Italy.
Thomas, you lost men, I believe, when you were deployed.
Yes, we did.
And how devastating of a loss was each life deployed without having to, play around with the language here?
Doing like that.
Well, it is something that is with a person every single day to this day, and will be with us, with all of us in that unit until the day we die.
Thomas, the campaign put out a statement saying that after 24 years of military service, Governor Walz retired in 2005 and ran for Congress, where he chaired the Veteran Affairs and was a tireless advocate for our men and women in uniform. And as Vice President of the U.S., he will continue to be a relentless champion for our veterans and military families. He has not addressed this charge of stolen valor. Do you think the men and women who deployed when he decided not to, and did not embellish or casually kind of misstate or misrepresent his record, do they deserve a response to these charges?
I would say, from what I get from the soldiers that I went to Iraq with, probably 98% of them are, completely against him embellishing his record. It was, yeah, he was in for 24 years and he quit. Well, okay, so that's what you did. But don't try to make it look like you were a command sergeant major. Don't try to make it look like you were going to some place that was in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. I mean, granted, that's just all embellishment and lies to try to make things look better.
Well, Tom,
there's a few out there that still back.
Thank you.
Yeah, he could retire. He had 20 years in. I mean,
he served. There's no doubt about it. He served, but there's no need to embellish your record or leave out key details.
Right. And Tom, you can serve 24 mediocre years and be in a frumpy uniform and do your 24 years, but that's not turning you into a super soldier that did what he thinks that makes it look like he did.
Well, as Tom, all I know is that every command sergeant major I've ever had the privilege of meeting,
do you need anything else?
The coolest, highest ranking enlisted officer. Am I getting that right?
No.
In the Army,
Thank
am I getting
you.
that right? And they just get it done.
Yeah, you're humbling me by saying that, but that is the point, and that's the point that he knows that, and that's why he wants to use that title as his campaign, rank, because that, people look, like you said right there, people know that in the movies and everything. I mean, if you're the CSM, you're the guy that, get the hell off the grass, and and you're right hand man with the colonel doing his thing. I mean, it's really it's an unbelievable rank. You can do so much for your soldiers and so much for your country at that rank. It's unbelievable. And for somebody to step down at a position and then claim they still were that's just absolutely terrible.
That's appalling. Tom, thank you so much for your service to the country and all those who served with you and those who did not return and their families tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so we have to wonder why would your girl Kamala Harris wouldn't do a check on this Tim Walz guy? Why wouldn't you do a check on this Tim Walz guy? Why would you allow him to basically sabotage your campaign with something as egregious as this? It wasn't hard to find people to say, no, he did not serve in active duty. Well, I guess he was deployed to Italy, but he was not in a combat zone. And it wasn't hard to find these videos. And of course, the internet is going to be the internet. So you're able to find this information, but I don't understand why wouldn't your girl Kamala Harris wouldn't do a background check on this guy. Okay, so it's this is really upsetting to a lot of people. It's really upsetting to a lot of people. LeBron will never be as great as LeBron saying an M4 weapon in the Army. So that's what they're using in the Army. And thank you for your service, LeBron. He's saying he did 5 deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan. My girlfriend's husband, he was a, he might be, I don't think he's retired, but he was a master sergeant, and he would deploy 18 months at a time. He would deploy 18 months at a time. He ended up getting into, I think this was a few years ago. He was like one of those contractors that would go and deploy. So it's really serious when you're talking to people that actually served in active duty and in a military or a combat zone versus Tim Walz going around being goofy and got that goofy look on his face and that goofy talk saying, oh, I'm trying to get rid of the weapons that we use in the war, that I use in the war, off the streets. And we know those are totally different weapons. Okay. But, some people, just a regular day citizen, they might not know if they don't, have relationships with, people, servicemen. Okay. So that is one thing. The act of stolen valor is a thing. I don't know what's going to come of that. It's some rumblings that, okay, Harris might kick him off the ticket. I think it's a little bit too late. I believe Harris did not have much of a choice when it came to her VP pick. I don't know if Josh Shapiro was on the up and up. Kamala Harris seems like the person that she wants to be the person that, tells people what to do and you just do it. She doesn't seem like she would, I don't know, take leadership from people well. She doesn't seem like that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So it seems like she will get, if she does get a male, the male will be subservient to her. Okay. That's my own personal opinion of Kamala Harris. I don't know her personally, but this is what I get from her. So that was that. And then there was another rumor floating around. This is a rumor. This is sick, So I said I don't feel comfortable with Tim Walz because I feel like something is off with him. You guys make sure you could hear me and see me. My camera went down, so I had to use this other camera. Anyway, this other rumor is saying very gross, very disgusting. I waited to post it up. I commented on other people's posts, but I waited to post it up because I wanted to see some evidence of it. I don't want to be spreading rumors about somebody that's really disgusting and it's not true. But somebody found the news clipping. You had some other people saying, oh, you could fake a news clipping. You could, what is it called? AI could generate a news clipping. I think we could go back, if we go to West Point, Nebraska, and see if we could microfiche. Back then they kept it on microfiche, or maybe they imaged it already to see if we could find this newspaper clipping. But it's saying this was posted by Gunther Eagleman. Now he posted this news clipping. They haven't put no community notes on this news clipping. Or yes, they have. It says this is a satire. See the next story about UN sponsor moose census written by Bob O'Bobston. This is a fake headline meme often used to satirical images. Okay, so like I said, I didn't want to talk about it unless I knew it was actually true. But they're saying it's a satire, so I'm not going to even talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it, but it was pretty disgusting. Anyway, not going to talk about that. Okay, so that was that. And then now this is totally really disgusting. And this is the last story that I'm going to talk about Tim Walz today. Okay, until we get something else in the news. This is the last story I'm going to talk about. Let me just pull it up. Okay. Now, this is another bill that Tim Walz signed. It's a bill redefining the term sexual orientation to include pedophiles. Okay. This bill by Lee Fink, that's the trans-identified male, introduced HF number 1655, which redefines sexual orientation. Now, they want to put sexual orientation, you know, I don't know if you heard of the word or the acronym MAP. That's minor attractive person. So a person is attracted to minors. Okay, this minor attractive person, and they took out the definition of this is a subsection of sexual orientation. It says meaning having or being perceived as having emotional, physical, or sexual attachment to another person without regard to the sex of the person, or having or being perceived of having or orientation for such attachment. So they scratched out or amended or having being perceived of having a self-image or identity or non-traditional associated with one's biological maleness or femaleness. Sexual orientation does not include physical or sexual attachment to children by an adult. Okay, so when they took that language out, they want to include that you are attached or you are sexually attracted to children. Okay, it says this is an amendment to the link of the bill. In this amendment, Fink crossed out the section that expressly precluded pedophiles from falling under the definition of sexual orientation. In the old bill, this definition, sexual orientation, delineated which people were protected under the Minnesota Human Rights Statute, making it a violation to discriminate against those falling under the definition. You can't discriminate towards people if you are a LGBTQ, okay? Prior to this amendment. Now they're saying, oh, you can't discriminate if you are a part of the group LGBTQ, and they're including minor attractive person, MAPS, pedophiles. He actually signed this bill. I put this on, well, I didn't put this particular post. I put the other post about the minors being protected class if they're getting gender affirming in Minnesota. And they were saying, oh, no, if you're a parent, you cannot come to Minnesota to get your child back because we might arrest you. They have the right to be here and get their sex gender affirming care. Okay. I put that in my post, and then I also put the bathroom post where he's supplying tampons in the bathroom. Some people are saying, oh, I would feel so great if a man, he'll get all the booty if a man came up to me and I asked him for a tampon. Number one, when you're in high school, now this is just based off my own experience. You ladies could chime in. When you're in high school, you're not really used to your period. So you're like, ew, period. You're not going like, yeah, I got my period. You're not going around telling men, these boys, that they think it's weird too. They don't know about life, really. Now, maybe the things are different now. Maybe they know more, because they're more advanced and social media has contaminated their mind. But still, it's your body. It's weird. That's why kids are weird. They don't know. Oh, I want to bind my titties because my titties are getting too big. So they've experienced these weird hormonal things that's going on in their body. Why in the world would a woman, pre-woman, a person that's becoming a woman, ask a boy, hey, you got a tampon? So uncomfortable. So I suggested, no, this is not because of that. This is totally because, this transgender with children, a gender affirming care. I think kids need to be protected. Okay, so we can't just say frivolously, oh, we're going to put tampons in the bathroom. Okay, what are we saying here? Some things is meant to be for women. Women should only know these things. And when you become like, when my husband was in the room with me when we were birthing out our child, you should have seen him. He looked mortified. That's why some cultures, they don't allow men to be in the room. Some things are left sacred, just like a period. It's okay. I have boys. I don't think they ever seen me, changing my sanitary napkin. Let's get real. It's funny, but it's not. It's just like, ew. Why would you expose a boy to that and they don't need to be exposed to? They need to know about it so they'll know how women working parts. Yeah, if this happened, if a woman is menstruating or if she's able to menstruate, you could possibly get her pregnant. I talk to my kids like that. I could remember my youngest son watched a animal being birthed. And he was like, yeah, he pooped it out. I was like, and I had to correct him. No, the animal didn't poop it out. It was a female. I think it was a giraffe. And I was like, she actually birthed it through her vagina. And he was like, oh, why they call it vagina? And he was like, oh, that word is stupid. But he knows. Now he knows you don't shit out babies. But does he know, hey, you need to have a menstrual cycle to... No, he don't know all that yet. But when they start asking me, I'm going to tell them. Or I'm going to tell them, hey, if it's a man thing, ask your daddy. But what I'm getting, and I'm getting kind of off track, Tim Walz, he signed this sexual orientation thing. It's not because he's looking out for female rights. He's championed the transgender ideology. He's championed this minor attracted person ideology. This is just another sexual orientation. Another sexual orientation. It says explicitly excluding pedophiles through the addition of the phrase to the definition. Sexual orientation does not include physical or sexual attachment to children by adult. The bill passed. The committee was adopted. Okay. And this was back in March the 7th, 2023. And they're saying that, this is this transgender. He's saying that the committee hearing as modernizing the terminology is to reflect more contemporary understanding of sexual orientation and gender. It's not contemporary orientation. We have some laws that was passed recently. I think it was in Louisiana. If you have a problem with pedophilia, and if you've been charged with pedophilia, they're castrating people. And some I thought, one state was putting them to death because it's a sickness and a disease. So this is another example of, I don't think, maybe Kamala Harris didn't have a lot of options. And I don't think she did a full workup or background check on Tim Walz. You guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. LeBron, thank you for the super chat. LeBron says those, I know your name is not LeBron. LeBron would never be as great as Jordan. He's saying those weapons that want to ban are meant for the citizens to have weapons to prevent the government from overpowering its citizens. I've talked about this all the time. Example, force vaccines from the government by, they're forcing you to take vaccines. Keep your weapons. Another great example is, hey, Venezuela. Venezuelans, they turned over their weapons, and look what they're going through now. Australia, I don't know if they're going, but they're forcing people to take the vaccine in Australia, or you can't come into the country. You had to shelter in place if you didn't want to take the vaccine. Australia has a weapons ban. Europe has a weapons ban, and you see what they're doing in Europe, in Great Britain. I think smart gun ownership, you have to be responsible, but it is essentially, it's written in the Constitution, it's essentially to protect you not from your neighbor, but from government tyranny. Because it happened before. Government tyranny. Posh Pedal, thank you for tuning in. Samuel Matthews, thank you for your service. Sam, thank you. Sam, remember to hit that like button and subscribe button. You guys put in the chat. I don't know why my stream went down. I don't know why it went down, but it went down. Hopefully you could see me. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. Okay, so we're going to move forward from the next subject. And this is basically your girl Kamala Harris. I wanted to talk about her for a quick second. Kamala Harris was mad yesterday. Now, I don't know how true this is. I really don't know how true this is because Kamala Harris was in Detroit, okay? She had a rally in Detroit, and she had people coming. They said she met with a Muslim group, okay? I don't know if you know anything about Michigan or Detroit. We have the highest Muslim population here, specifically Metro Detroit. A very high Muslim population here. You don't really hear them causing any problems. They're pretty much law-abiding citizens. Okay, and I'm saying citizens because most of them here are American citizens, and they abide by the law. They stick to their own people. They stick to their culture. They make sure that their own people are being fed and their community is well taken care of. Now you have some that stray off the farm, but most of them, they're very law-abiding citizens, and they don't cause a ruckus. But they have their culture, they have their beliefs, they believe in what they believe. But anyway, and they are champions of speaking out against government. And I could say Muslim, but we could say Middle East community, because some of Middle Easterns that's here, they operate by the Christian faith. Some of them are Catholic. But if they're wearing the hijab, I'm assuming that they're Muslim. But anyway, what I was getting at is she met with them prior to her rally, and all of a sudden in her rally, I guess it didn't go too well. It didn't go too well for Kamala Harris because they started protesting in her rally, and she got upset. Now, this is on Israel newspaper. This was dated August the 8th. It says U.S. Muslims call on Harris to impose weapons embargo on Israel. The vice president attended a campaign rally in Detroit where the request was raised for her to consider the demand. In response, if you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. It's saying that during the rally, Palestinians demonstrators interrupt Harris' speech by chanting, "Kamala, Kamala, you can't hide. We won't vote for genocide." In response, she addressed the issue directly and said, "If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking." That's what she told to the protesters. She told this to the protesters. And my take on it is, someone will protest you. If that's how you handle protest, you're not very diplomatic. I mean, you could have ignored them or say, hey, I'm here to listen to what you're saying. But there were several posts about this. I want to get to the actual video. Okay. I thought I posted it up here. My bad. I for some reason I thought I had it posted. Okay, so this is Kamala right here. This is Kamala.
And he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
Chase. So she's saying if you want a Donald Trump to win, you just say that, otherwise I'm speaking. I don't believe Kamala has the patience to be a vice president or president. Turn that on. You see that flip switch? No, right there. Yeah. I don't think it's on. Let me see.
This is on. So you should put on.
You said it is on?
Yeah, I was already on when I looked at it.
Try it again. Flip it around the other way. No, just flip it around.
Off. This is reset. This is on.
So what? It's not coming on for some reason. Anyway, I don't know what's wrong with the power. Something's going on. Okay, thank you. You guys, if I cut out, it's probably because something's wrong with the power. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so she's saying, you know, I don't think she has the patience to be a president. I don't think she does. People disrupting the rally. Kamala saying, you know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, say that. I'm speaking. Okay. Joey from X, Manarino, says to appease the Muslim, Kamala didn't put a Jew on her ticket, even though the Jew would have been an extremely strong pick and deliver her Pennsylvania without doubt. Instead, she picked Tim Walz because he's an honorary Somalian and the Muslims adore him. Then what does she do? She goes to Islamic stronghold of Michigan and meets privately with Hamas supporters. The meeting doesn't go well. The Hamas people protest during the meeting, during her speech, and instead handling it reasonably, she lashes out at them and essentially tells them to shut up. So she blew the Muslim vote that she was so concerned about getting in the first place, that she sacrificed her own VP choice. Amazing. She is imploding. I could totally agree with this. She is imploding, And I don't think she knows. I don't even think she realized that she's imploding. The polls that we're seeing now, these are false polls. These are false narratives that they're putting in front of our face. I think she's going to be trailing Donald Trump by double digits. Because between her not being a likable person, she's totally not likable, and her being just what I'm here, just like a nasty person, and her picking Tim Walz, which is I think it was a horrible pick. And in front of us, on the surface, it looks like a great pick because he knows how to speak to the crowd. But after you start peeling the layers away, we see Tim Walz was not a good pick. He's a liar, just like Kamala Harris, a scam. So she is imploding, and we're expecting to hear something from Donald Trump around 2 p.m. So, and he's planning to do a press conference in regards to Kamala Harris. You know, he said that he's going to pull out, you know, all the stops against Kamala Harris. So I don't know what they dug up that we don't already know. But when he said when he gives a debate, he's going to I guess maybe, you know, mop the floor with her. So I could only imagine what JD Vance is going to do with Tim Walz. Now, another thing about JD Vance been traveling. JD Vance been trolling Kamala Harris. Everywhere they go, he's campaigning too. If they show up to Detroit, he was in Detroit yesterday. And he was in Minnesota the day before. So everywhere they campaign, he's going behind and campaigning. He's practically just using the jet that Donald Trump gave him and using it to travel where they're traveling and forcing Kamala Harris to try to answer questions. So, I mean, I wouldn't have did it, but it's kind of hilarious because he's showing up. He's literally showing up when she, you know, touched down on the tarmac. He was there, like, "Hey, surprise! I'm here. Are you going to answer some of these questions of the media? Are you going to do that?" And she has not answered not one single question of the media in these last 19 days. She hasn't made not one like public appearance taking questions off the whim. You know how you just answer questions, you know, okay, let me answer some of the questions. She has not done that. Everything when we see her, everything is scripted. Do you guys find that a little odd? Who else was doing that before he said, "I'm going to step down"? Joe Biden. And she has all her mental faculties. She has all her mental faculties. Randy Smith says that's not true. He retired from the National Guard several months before the unit was placed on alert. As a matter of fact, his unit was not called to active duty unit the following year later. Well, that's not what the guy said on Fox, dude. I mean, it's not like I'm just pulling stuff out the air. I'm showing you video. This is video, Randy. Randy, this is video. They had somebody from Fox News in his same infantry, and they said he wasn't there. You know, he was stationed in Italy, but he wasn't there. So, and him retiring, I don't think that's the problem. I think the main problem is him lying about him serving in active duty in an actual combat zone. The wording that he's putting. Anger management. Kamala has all the mental faculties of a fourth grade education. Yeah. A fourth grade educator. Yep. So, okay. So I'm going to do a pivot. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. We're going to talk about Donald Trump because Donald Trump, he is right now, they're trying to figure out, Adin Ross gave him some gifts during his live stream. Okay. They're saying that this live stream may have been, I guess, blacklisted on YouTube. They're not showing it. It should have had more views than what they're showing, but they're not. They're not showing everything. They're not, I guess, promoting it. It has too many views, even though they're, I guess, suppressing the views or whatever, suppressing the algorithm on his stream. So he gave several gifts. He gave a Rolex and this Cybertruck to Donald Trump. And they're saying that, okay, they got to make sure, because you're not supposed to accept any gifts greater than a certain amount. And this is a campaign finance thing. So they're asking, this is Rolling Stone article. They're asking, Trump got a free Cybertruck from the streamer Adin Ross. Is that legal? The controversial content creator known for platforming white supremacists in the past have been violated the FEC rules on campaign contributions during a sycophantic live interview today. So I really hate the way that they're putting Adin Ross out there. They're saying he platformed white supremacists, and I guess he talked to Nick Fuentes maybe a long time ago. So I'm not for sure, but he's a young kid. I think he's like 24. He's similar to Kai Cenat. They have several people on their platform. I don't know. I have to look to see what kind of stuff Adin Ross says on his stream. Some of these young kids say racist stuff because they think it's funny. Not because he's an actual racist. They just think it's funny because they got black friends. Like he had this one video and I forget what it was, but they was doing a dance challenge, and it was a video or a song that was not native to it was not English native. It was like some Asian or Chinese, a different language, like an Asian language. But anyway, it sounded like it was saying nigga on the video, and they were singing it, and I think nigga means something else in either Cantonese or Mandarin, but when the song started off, he started dancing, and his friend looked at him like, for real, you gonna play this song? But it was a joke. But they think, I guess, since he jokes about it, he's a racist. I don't think so. I think kids do stupid stuff, and he's 24, so I just don't put him in the white supremacist group as of yet. He hasn't done anything egregious for me to say, oh yeah, he's a white supremacist. I think they think it's funny, for real. I think the guy's sense of humor, when you have a mixed friends, a mixture of friends, black and white, you say some stupid shit. Because I used to be one of those people. I still would say stupid stuff, you know, just to be an asshole. But I think it's funny. But I think it's funny. But anyway, but I wouldn't label me as a black supremacist or him as a white supremacist. Anyway, so Adin Ross interviews Trump, gives him a Cybertruck and a Rolex. They're saying that influencer could be a campaign violation. And they're saying they're still trying to figure it out. Okay. It's beyond the limit. The Trump's campaign has said since that it was to seek guidance from the FEC on how to handle the gifts. The internet celebrity who hosted Adin Ross has not publicly commented on the gifts in relation to the campaign finance, which limits individuals' contributions to political candidates they support to $3,300, far below the value of the truck and the watch. Okay. So 23, and he's only 23. A professional video game streamer has risen to fame by hosting interviews, guests such as Andrew Tate and, of course, Nick Fuentes. Andrew Tate, they say, faces the R charges and human trafficking. And, you know, the guy, Nick Fuentes. There's bigger guys out there that's been on his platform, but they had to make sure they attach the R word, human trafficking, and white supremacy to Trump's name. Just remember that. They have to make that correlation because they want you to, hey, you know, that's Trump's kind. He loves white supremacists. So they want you to make that correlation. Okay, he was banned from the streaming platform Twitch after he made homophobic and racist comments there. Race has since moved to kick a Twitch competitor to run his streams, and which was there. He hosted Trump for an 80-minute interview. While far-right influencers are usually generous with praise towards Trump, Ross went beyond the praise in his live stream with the former president and Republican nominee in November's White House elections against the Trump Democratic Vice President, against the Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. Okay, so they got to figure out how he might just give it back, or maybe Adin will say, okay, your son can have it. Your son can have it. I doubt if Barron wants to drive around with his daddy's face on his truck. Like, that's not cool. You know, he's going to college too. So I doubt if he wants that attention. But we don't know. He might give it back, or Trump probably could sell it or something like that and donate it or something. I'm not for sure. But that's with Adin Ross and Trump. Now, your girl, I told you, your girl is trying to one up Donald Trump. She's trying to get these paid influencers to her campaign. And it's not working out well for her because several people have called her out. We talked about Kai Cenat not willing to go on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris. Kai Cenat said, I don't talk political, so why would I start? But I did run across this one post where this individual, she only has about 2,000 followers on Twitter. Not Twitter, but Instagram. And she decided to post this. And she said she didn't get paid, but I think she's lying. She said she didn't get paid. I think she's totally lying about it. I think she got paid. I really do. I think she got paid for this. And it's saying that, now this is her post. Now, Tariq Nasheed, anybody know about Tariq Nasheed? He's pro-black. He's definitely against Democrats because he don't like the Democrat plantation. He's not too thrilled about conservatives. He think that's filled with white supremacies as well. I'm not for sure who he's voting for. He might not vote, but he's the FBA guy, the FBA, Foundational Black Americans. And I just realized that, and somebody put it on their post, well, Foundational Black Americans is different than ADOS. You guys are booyah niggas. But anyway, so Tariq Nasheed said, here are some actual political means the Democrats are paying influence to post on their social media. Things you niggas need to know before you vote. Trump did not give you $1,200. No duh. Okay. The stimulus check distributed and blah, blah, blah through the COVID funds. Yeah. It was a global pandemic, honey bun. That's why you got that free money. You hear some people saying they voting for Trump because they got that stimmy check. That's just the, hood people. But if you talk to regular Black Americans that's kind of intelligent, and they don't really need to be an academic scholar, just people that work all the time and work for what they have, they're kind of know what's going on if they're voting for Trump. They're not talking about stimmy check, because if you made so much money, you probably didn't get no stimulus check anyway. So you have certain values and policies that will push you towards Trump. Anyway, so that's one of the posts, and it says, too, Kamala Harris is in fact black. Chase, what do you want?
Can we come downstairs to dark?
No, you gotta wait till I get off. Your room better be clean. Honestly, I'm not sure why, and make sure you put on some clothes, brush your teeth, and wash your face. I'm not sure even why this even matters. Kamala Harris identifies as black. She is mixed heritage. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So why would you post it? It actually doesn't matter if she was green. The other option is the orange racist felon who aims to be our dictator. Okay, these are points that I'm going to show you. When you get a contract for influencing, they tell you what they want you to hone in on. You have to meet 2 of these 5 bullet points. You must say such and such and such. So they tell you this is not new. This is on all influencer contracts. So this is what the Democrats or Harris wants you to regurgitate. Okay, your vote does matter. That's a good point. Popular vote influenced the electoral college. Even if your vote didn't matter, it doesn't hurt to use your voice anyway. I think that's a stupid point. Okay, so that's what she posted, and I did point out that, okay, and she has a point 4 and 5. Kamala Harris did not lock up thousands of black men. She talks about her tenure over, and they said 1,900 people, I guess, past her tenure. And then, she only locked up 45 people. She said presidential candidates aren't perfect, but at least know the facts. Okay. Agenda 47 is not for your black ass. Okay. That's what she's saying. She's saying that Trump's Agenda 47 poses serious risk to black minority communities. It plans to cut funding for school teaching critical race theory and eliminate a diversity program. It should. It should cut funding, critical race theory. Why would you be teaching theory to kids? Just teach facts. If you're going to teach about black history, teach about black history. Why are we calling it critical race theory? That's my main problem with critical race theory, because kids shouldn't be learning theories in school unless they're going in college. If you're in college, yeah, learn all the theories you want. Or if you're doing a scientific experiment, this is the steps to prove that your science works. You know, the step, you remember in physics and science class, they had these 5 steps from theory to all the way up to it's a proven fact or whatever they call it. But it's like 5 steps or 4 steps. Okay, yeah, use theory that. But we don't want theories being learned in high school and confusing kids. So, yeah. Anyway, Agenda 47 is directly from Trump's administration. Okay. What's the problem with that? Yeah, Agenda 47 of Trump administration, they do need to defund some of these schools because they're not teaching the kids. You trying to teach critical race theory, and 60% of 8th graders, black kids, can't freaking read. So what theory are they going to learn? They can't learn it because they can't freaking read. They can't read. Let's work on the basis. Math, and 60% of black children can't do math grade level. They're not proficient at math or reading. And we're trying to interject, oh, you need to teach my kid critical race theory. No, you teach your own damn kid a theory. Leave the damn kids alone. Just like that gender stuff, this critical race theory, just take it out. It has nothing to do with schooling. And all African American history, since I've been in school, it's always washed up. I didn't learn real African American history. Only reason why we learn real African American history is because my mother put us in an after school program. And the guy that was teaching us, he was Muslim. A black Muslim. We was part of that program. I forgot what the program is now. But the guy's name is Okeo White. And he taught us African history. What? Well, we're going to be gone at 3 o'clock.
No, but he's going to get...
I'm talking, Shay, a Cannon. We're going to do it before... Your room better be clean. And you got on pajama pants. So anyway, that's that, you guys. I wanted to show you one more thing before I get off. Let me make sure the battery. Okay. I want to show you one more thing before I get off. And this is what the contract looks like. For these influencers.
Tonight's Eye on America, Jolene Kent reveals their sophisticated and expensive tactics.
Look at the volume in this hair. 23-year-old Awasane made a name for herself dispensing beauty tips on TikTok.
I just peed in the White House.
So when she posted this video of her White House bathroom break, her 500,000 followers took notice.
I was just shocked. I was like, did you guys see that marble?
Sane, who met us in Houston, was one of a few dozen influencers invited to the White House to watch the State of the Union and meet President Biden.
He said to us, the collective presence in this room has more viewership on Gen Z than all of traditional media combined.
So here's my birth control vlog. It was this viral video she posted after the fall of Roe v. Wade
over the United States and my uterus
that initially caught the attention of a Democratic super PAC. On the right, Turning Point USA has mobilized influencers for years, raising nearly $200 million since 2020.
You realize they're coming for you guys next.
Now, Democratic organizations are flooding the creator community with cash and providing behind-the-scenes access.
Come with me to meet the President of the United States.
We just have to be working with them, and if we're not, we're missing a huge way that voters are getting information about the world.
Rob Flaherty runs digital strategy, previously in the Biden White House and now for the Harris campaign.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
He called the highly memeable Harris a massive asset as the campaign reaches out to thousands of influencers.
What kind of coaching do you give influencers acting on behalf of the Harris campaign?
Talking points, resources, base language.
While Flaherty says the Harris campaign does not pay influencers directly, CBS News found a constellation of other Democratic political organizations that do. In May, Future Forward, the super PAC supporting Harris, hosted panels like Gaming the Algorithm and how advocacy can benefit your business.
In the first 100 days of a Republican presidency under Trump, Project 2025 talks about sacking thousands of civil servants.
Last month, Sunay says she was hired by Protect Our Care, a progressive advocacy group that relies on anonymous donors. She made a video warning about Trump's second-term agenda.
They almost help you script it, right?
Right,
Like,
definitely.
She takes their talking points and puts them into her own voice, saying she always discloses when she's being paid.
What's your rate?
So a video just for a creator in my size, an average can go from $3,000 to $10,000 depending and upwards.
This is a bid by campaigns to create authenticity at a small scale.
University of Pittsburgh's Sam Woolley studies political influencers.
How can you tell what is a genuine grassroots expression of political opinion versus what's being paid for?
If you see multiple influencers spreading the same exact message, you can start to realize, some kind of coordination is going on.
Next up for Sunay, the Democratic National Convention.
They just told us that if we wanted to put on our own show, that they would give us all the resources to do that.
The Democrats are rolling out the red carpet.
Definitely, and I'm glad to be on it.
The beauty influencer now applying her own filter to this presidential campaign. For Eye on America, Jolene Kent, Houston.
So they're rolling out the dough for the influencers. I think it's a great tactic, but it's at Steam. Will they get to vote? I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure. So you guys, that's all for our business talks. You guys, let me know. If you'd like to see more videos like this. I'm just winging it right now. So I'm sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.